Hello and welcome to the second part of Sports Talk right here on Tameside Radio. I'm Mark Phillip, Head of Sport at Quest Media Network, and as usual, I'll be reflecting on some of the biggest stories in Tameside and the surrounding areas over the past 7 days. But as usual, we'll start the show with our Betfred Sports Talk chat with Peter Spencer, who joined me in the studio earlier today to preview England's World Cup qualifier against Albania tonight. We also discuss Eddie Howe and Steven Gerrard's arrivals at Newcastle United and Aston Villa respectively, and look ahead to the T20 World Cup final between Australia and New Zealand on Sunday. Peter, no Premier League action this weekend. It's the World Cup qualifiers, and tonight at Wembley it's England taking on Albania. England need 4 more points from the remaining 2 games to qualify. You know, it's looking good for them.
Well, it most certainly is when you consider the last match was against San Marino on Monday. You can expect them to go and win, get 3 points there. So effectively need a draw tonight against Albania. Now, England are 1-8 with Betfred to indeed pick up those 3 points. Albania 22-1 and a draw is 7-1. So we do think that England will win at Wembley tonight.
And if you fancy a punt on anytime goal scorer this evening, Harry Kane has been priced at 1-2, Tammy Abraham 10-11, Raheem Sterling 20-21, Phil Foden 5-4, and Jack Grealish 15-8. So Peter, do you fancy any of those listed players to notch tonight?
Well, I think Harry Kane will come good again. He's been talking about his frustration in the Premier League. He's only scored 1 goal this season. And he has been he's playing all the talk of transfer to Manchester City and the change in the managerial situation at Tottenham has left him exhausted. So he does seem to play very, very well for England, and I expect him to score the first goal. Betfred have him at 2-1 to score the first goal. The order's the same. Tammy Abrahams 10-3 to score the first goal. Sterling 7-2. Betfred have Foden at 9-2 to score the first goal. And then Smith Rowe, the new guy from Arsenal in the squad, he's 6-1 to score the first goal. Excellent stuff.
Do you think Conte's arrival at Tottenham will spark something of like a renaissance with Harry Kane? Do you think you'll see the striker that he previously was last season? Because like you said, then he's been out of form this season.
Well, he has, but I do think he'll get the best out of him. He does well with strikers, Conte, and I think that he'll get back to his fantastic form because, I mean, they always say that class is permanent and form is temporary.
Absolutely. Well, we'll take a look now at the World Cup 2022. Like we said then, it is the qualifiers still taking place, but looking ahead to next year's competition, we've got the outright odds listed on the screen. Now, Peter, France and Brazil, favourites to win the competition, and I guess rightly so.
Yeah, I think England are shorter than I would imagine. 7-1 there. Spain 8-1. I mean, I quite like the look of Argentina and Belgium at 11-1. I think they've got a fair chance. I don't know whether you go far enough down there, but Wales are 200-1, and Scotland 1,000-1.
There we go.
World Cup.
Well, if you fancy Scotland, they are 1,000-1. I think you'd have to be a braver man than me to put that one on. So we'll take a look now at Newcastle United's situation because, of course, former Bournemouth boss Eddie Howe has taken over there. Peter, what do you make of his arrival at St James's Park?
Well, I predicted that actually because I think he's the sort of manager who can rebuild the team like he did at Bournemouth. I remember when Bournemouth used to play against Bury that long ago, and he's been with them a long, long time. He failed at Burnley, mind you, but he is the sort of manager who will take a long, hard look at things, build from the bottom upwards. I can imagine the academy will get a big lift because he's big on bringing young players through. He hasn't necessarily been tested in the transfer market in terms of big money signings, which no doubt a lot of Newcastle fans will be looking for, because he hasn't been a club that can afford to splash out that much.
Yep.
So that's a weakness in his CV from their point of view. But I do think he is a good, sound appointment. Whether he'll be the manager in 5 years is another question, because he is the sort of manager who'll he's got a reputation for getting out of their relegation scraps. It'd be good if they do get relegated because he can get teams up. But is he that high grade top 6 world manager who will get them to that higher level? Maybe not. But he has got 3 or 4 years now to 3 years to prove himself and put himself in that kind of area.
I think it's a pressurised job. He's got the January transfer window coming up. He's got to make key signings. He will have a lot of money to spend, but if he spends this money and they still struggle and even get relegated to the Championship, it can't look good for him. Do you think the owners, with all the money they've got, do you think they persist with how if he was to get them relegated, or do you think they give someone else a chance to bounce straight back up?
I think they'll persist with him for the length of his contract. They're determined to make the right impression as well in football in this country.
Yeah.
They won't want to get any stick for being hire and fire outfit. So I think he will get the length of his contract. And frankly, I think he'll stabilise the club, get them to halfway up the league this year, avoid relegation, and then build on that. And I can't even see them spending that much in the window that's coming up in January, because there'll be premiums on any move that Newcastle make. I think he'll bring some players in, Jesse Lingard for one, and I think they need a new keeper, and then they'll build from that.
Do you think that would be a good move for Lingard, as we saw when he was at West Ham? He was thriving under David Moyes. Do you think he'd do the same up in the North East?
I do. I think he's a lively fella who'll get stuck in, and there's always a goal in him.
Yep, there certainly is. Well, we'll look towards the Midlands now, where Aston Villa have appointed former Rangers boss Steven Gerrard. Do you think that's a good move for him?
I think that's a very, very risky move for him, because if he doesn't make it at Aston Villa, that's bang goes his chances of being the Liverpool manager, which clearly is his end game. He wants to take over from Klopp long term. So it's risky, but he is the sort of guy who'll have thought this through. He's probably realised that he's gone as far as he can with Rangers, and Rangers is limited in terms, not their ambition of the club, because it's a massive club, etc., but it's how far they can go. Are they going to win the Champions League? Answer, never. So, they're a long way from reaching those levels. So he probably thinks, if I go Aston Villa and make a fist of it and get Aston Villa back in Europe, say, and have top 4, 5, 6 finishes, then he would be in the frame for his ultimate dream, which, although he'd probably deny it if asked, is to manage Liverpool.
Yeah, of course. Do you think it was harsh on Dean Smith, though, for Aston Villa to sack him? I mean, he'd done wonders with the club, got him promoted from the Championship. Obviously, he came from Brentford as well, so he's worked his way up, and he was previously at Walsall. Do you think it was harsh on the owners to get rid of him?
Yeah, I do. I think it was very harsh. They could have at least given him to the end of the season, because Aston Villa weren't doing that badly. They were on a bad run, but they were a half-decent team. He was probably forced to sell Grealish as well, and built his team around one individual player, which is always risky, because he could have got injured as well. And it was a harsh decision, that. But again, it's the ambition of the club. They probably think that they want a manager who's going to take them to the next level. I mean, it always strikes me as being odd that the so-called second biggest city in London, although I would say it's Manchester, of course, has never really, in 10 years, produced a club that competes at the top of the Premier League.
No.
It's very, very odd. Aston Villa's the most likely, and the owners clearly think that Gerrard will take them to this higher level.
Yeah, absolutely. Frank Lampard, he's set to move to Norwich. Do you think that'd be a good move for him?
Yeah, I do. I think he's one of them can't be any worse than it is situations. He can't get any worse, can he? He's on a winner there, because everyone expects him to get relegated.
It's a
he
free
probably
hit,
will
really.
get relegated. Yeah, so it's a free hit. So he'll probably he'll probably be relegated, and then he'll bounce back with a new look team. I think the managers that you mentioned, it's fantastic that they're all English, and that we've got a nucleus of English managers all getting these top jobs in the Premier League. It can only enhance the reputation of the league.
Yep, certainly can. Well, we're moving to some cricket news now, because on Sunday it's a T20 World Cup final between Australia and New Zealand. This one's got all the ingredients to be a cracker. Peter, what are the odds looking like?
Well, Australia, who've really come from nowhere to get into this final, they're 4 to 7 favourites to win. They do seem to dig it out when necessary. New Zealand, everyone's favourite team in terms of sportsmanship and the way they go about the business. They're 11 to 8. this tournament has proved to me yet again, when it gets to the knockout stages in the business end of it, how it's always the team that bats second that wins effectively. So that toss will be absolutely vital on Sunday afternoon. Who'll win that? Because Australia, I didn't think they beat Pakistan, yet they did. It came from, it was just phenomenal batting.
Yeah.
But when a team's got a target in mind, they know exactly what's required and go for it. Whereas the first team are batting, they want to set themselves false targets and say, look, we've got to reach that level and force it on. But because they'll often take one singles or 2 runs, when really they should be going for it like they would if they were chasing it, and that makes such a difference at that format of cricket.
I think the world will be back in New Zealand this weekend. I think the world's still a little bit reeling from the Steve Smith ball tampering scandal. What do you think?
Well, I don't think people in this area particularly liked the Australians at cricket. So they were already on a bit of a downer with them, and then when that happened, it just epitomises it. But they have, I mean, I won New Zealand. I saw that against England there was a run on, and he sort of collided ever so slightly with the bowler, and he just stops and said, "Oh, no, we're not having a run for that," because it was just fair play, and you've got to recognise that they didn't even kick off when they lost that World Cup 50s match with us. They even though they could have done, because there's quite a few controversies, they just accepted it. They're just decent people.
I think it's about time cricket has some kind of lively activity, a bit of controversy. It's always been seen as this boring game to the outsiders. I love it, but I think it could do with a bit more excitement.
Well, it's not to get excitement with the Australians. They've always got some controversy brewing, but they don't look like they're enjoying themselves. I'm sure they are. There's not any smiles amongst them, is there, when they're playing? They just go about it in this ruthless Australian win at all costs sort of way, and it is paying off. I mean, I didn't even expect to get in the top 4 for the semi-finals, but they've sneaked in there, and now they're favourites to win it.
Absolutely. Well, T20 final on Sunday, Australia against New Zealand, very exciting, and there's also excitement for one of your big winners this week, Peter. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, this is a guy who's 62 from Tyne Weir. He had a £2 Lucky 15 bet, and he won, what was it now? Well, he had one horse that drifted from 25 to 1 to 80 to 1, and that boosted his winning total to £37,000, because under Betfred's promotion, if a horse, we give guaranteed the best starting odds. So he backed this particular horse at 25 to 1. It's called Kashami. Anyway, it actually won at 80 to 1. Of course, we paid it 80 to 1. Right. So that affected his ACCA so much that it was boosted by 37,000. Look, it was boosted by 28,000 on a 37,000 win. So if it hadn't been for us having that promotion, then he would have only won about £10,000, but he won, in fact, 37,000. So I've been asking him about it, and he said that it was he'll have the best ever Christmas, and he's planning to go to New York on his holidays next year.
Brilliant stuff. Hope he enjoys it. £37,000, that could be you. But as I always say, you've got to be in it to win it. Now, just finally, we'll take a look at Strictly Come Dancing, because it does continue tomorrow night. That's Saturday night. And as you can see on the screen, these are the outright odds for the event. Well, it's been great speaking to you once again, Peter. And if you do fancy a punt on England against Albania this evening, Betfred stores are now open, but you can also bet online and via their app. Well, our thanks as always go to Betfred for their ongoing support and sponsorship. Georgia Taylor-Brown has once again impressed the nation as she took home silver in the World Triathlon Championship Series. Following her Olympic success in Tokyo earlier this year, all eyes were on the local athlete as she headed to compete in Abu Dhabi. This event gathers the very best in the sport, including Olympic, world and European champions. Despite the tough challenge in front of her, Georgia powered through and ended with an outstanding second-placed finish just behind world and Olympic champion Flora Duffy. Droylsden Amateur Boxing Club's Kane Gardner sampled a taste of the big time on the Boxer Series event, live on Sky Sports in Liverpool last weekend. The 26-year-old super lightweight progressed to the semi-final of the competition, but was undone by Tom Farrell. I spoke to his coach Ian Harrison to get his views on the event and what the future has in store for his protégé.
It was a brilliant concept, you know what I mean? It was great, the way they'd done it, the build-up. Thursday was the draw, which was drawn by Anthony Crowler and Natasha Jonas, who's just signed with Boxer. That was great in itself, you know what I mean, being like drawn out of the hat. And it sort of, you couldn't write it, he got drawn first, Orange first, Kane Gardner, and then got drawn with Nathan Bennett.
Yeah, bit of an enemy.
Yeah, a real enemy. They're supposed to box 3 times for the Central Area title. One was in September. Nathan unfortunately got COVID, so couldn't go ahead with it. So it was, it was ironic really that they both got picked out of the hat.
Yeah, a new concept, the Boxer Series, 3-minute rounds. How do you adjust your training to that new concept? Because obviously he's previously used to just fighting in normal bouts, isn't he?
Yeah, well, since his amateur days, we sort of went back to the concept of training for three frees rather than training for 10 rounds.
Yeah.
So it was 3 rounds, rest 20 minutes, 3 rounds again, rest 20 minutes. We had really great help. He was sparring with Zelfa for 4 rounds, but the main help was with Bayam Camille from Hatton's gym with Blaine Eunice. They helped us great. And they just helped us immensely. Yeah.
Do you think that kind of boxing, that concept will grow and get bigger and bigger and maybe spread across the world? Is it something you can see getting big?
It can do with Sky if you have different weight categories, because most of the people I spoke to, who sort of like boxing fans, not participants, have all said it was great. They watched it right to the end. It was really exciting because it was ongoing all the time. There was sort of no breaks. It was on and on and on. It was great.
Do you think that's just part of modern day culture? People want stuff like that. Is that part of
they want everything fast. Yeah. So we went 10 rounds. They blimey, 10 rounds. But when it's quick, fast and furious, it was good. And the Kane and Nathan started the series off really great. They were still saying it was the bout of the whole series, and that was the first one. They both went for it. Yeah.
So obviously disappointing on the night, but Kane's had a week of recovery now, or just under. What does the future look like for him? What's he going to be doing in the next few months?
He'll be having a rest. He'll be just ticking over. If anything comes up, we'll get ready, prepare for it. I should imagine early next year, hopefully there'll be something in the pipeline, maybe the Central Area again, with either Nathan Bennett or two of the others that was in the series.
Brilliant. Brilliant stuff. Just finally, looking at your Christmas toy appeal, I mean, I spoke to you a few weeks ago. Yeah. How's that coming on?
That's growing great. At the moment, we're getting loads of food, tins and pasta and stuff from some of the football coaches, some of the people in the area. But it's mainly now we're looking at toys for children and families, and they can be dropped off here, anytime.
That was Droylsden Amateur Boxing Club's Ian Harrison reflecting on Kane Gardner's defeat in the Boxer Series event last weekend. Ashton United in the community has been given a major boost after purchasing a van. The van was purchased thanks to help from Tameside Council and a number of fundraising initiatives. Patrick Finnegan, an avid supporter of the club who suffers from cerebral palsy, completed a sponsored walk from Hurst Cross to Stalybridge Celtic's Bowerfold in August, raising £2,000 in the process. The van will help towards the club's food pantry scheme and other initiatives in Hurst Cross and the surrounding areas. I spoke to Patrick's father and club secretary Andy Finnegan about the latest developments within the charity.
We've had quite a bit done down here, and we're really sort of pleased with it. I mean, especially the fence. It seems to sort of open up the ground a little bit. But it's been really sort of achievable with our joint chairman's efforts and the commitment he's put into the club already. We've got an awful lot of volunteers on the books, and they're always happy to come and give us a lift and do the dirty jobs and put the divots back, and so that I can get my little toy out and get the tractor out, get the cutter out. We've stopped cutting now, but we've got a new quadruplane now, so it's looking okay at the moment. Yeah, we're pleased with it. There's hospitality, there's gate men, there's raffle ticket sellers, there's programme sellers, there's people before the game, after the game, on the pitch, pitch preparations, line marking, putting divots back, just sort of repairing little bits of the ground, you know, sweeping, you know, getting rid of the rubbish. There's all sorts. Come and speak to us, and we'll speak to what you want to do. It's not what we specifically want you to do, it's what you would like to do. And that's why we engage really well with the volunteers, because we don't put any pressure on them. Yep. You know, it's come down here, perhaps just enjoy the game and just be a meter and greeter. It's really kicked the charity on, it really has. Essentially, we use it for the pantry. We use it for collecting fair share, which is, as you know, Marcus Rashford's involved with the fair share, so we do that collection there. And also, we go out into the community collecting from Christchurch, from schools. We've just recently had a donation by Hayes County Primary School, or drop the county, it's just Hayes Primary School now. And they've just given us a load of donations for the pantry. We use it on a pantry day for collecting our own stock, because I have a budget as well per week. So we make a list. When we get the fair share delivered, we make a list, and then we sort of go out and do the shopping then. I mean, that's essentially been born out of from Tameside Council. They were the main instigators of us reaching our target to purchase the van, and it's just been a terrific experience sort of being involved with that, and obviously the results from the van are absolutely tremendous. It's always ticking over what he wants to do. We have to sort of just, you know, calm him down a little bit, you know, sometimes, because he wants to do everything. He wants to get involved with everything, and the £2,000 that he's raised was just unbelievable. He did it with Steve Hobson, our vice chairman, Andy Clayton, our general manager, and like I say, they both walked up from Hurst Cross to Staleby Celtic, up to Bowerfold, and it was a terrific achievement, because, you know, there was a time when the paediatrician said he won't walk. Right. You know, when he was 6 and 7 year old, he would never walk, and this, that, and the other. And you sort of look at him now, and it's like, whoa, there you go, off you go, son. You know, and yeah, really, really proud of what he's achieved at the moment.
Andy Finnegan there talking about the latest developments with Ashton United in the community. Now, it's been a great period on and off the pitch for the Robins, with the club securing a 5th straight win on Tuesday night with a 3-1 win against Radcliffe Borough. Manager Michael Clegg spoke to Ashton's media team to offer his thoughts on the performance.
Really proud of the boys. Obviously our style shining through now, the work rate, the intensity, the pressing, going forward at pace, and I thought first half we were exceptional. Dropped off a bit second half, them lads have played a lot of minutes, and Radcliffe are a good side, so there was always going to have a spell. We would deserve winners tonight. And we're on a good run. We won't get carried away, but we're really enjoying it.
You mentioned the good run there. 5 games, 5 victories, just 2 goals conceded. Since Sam Baird's come into that back line alongside Harry Coates, the two of them have gelled really well together and formed a really good partnership.
They have. They're both fantastic, and I mean, when you've got Nicky Hunt and Rainsy around as well, who are giving you words of advice, and who are your biggest fans, and who are like a little team them for. I know Rainsy's out of the side, but what a professional he is. He's driving them both constantly. I mean, shouting at them more than I am on the bench, and that's what we're all about. It's a good group, and a massive shout out to Rainsy and Hunty for the work they've done with them, and I think that's shining through now. We look solid.
We do look solid, but going forward as well, 3 goals in the last 2 games, 6 goals in 2 games scored. Florian Jonshan, you mentioned him on Saturday, up top as a number 9, and another goal again today. Yeah,
definitely, he's an handful. Not played for a while, so when he come in at Nantwich, I don't think he played for 12 months. And then he went out wide left because we was trying to accommodate him, but he just showed a few glimpses in training over the last couple of weeks in the number 9 and on his own, and a bit of a bully, and he's quick and he's strong, and you know, again, it's been hard for Tom, because I thought Tom Bentham has been doing well, so he's dropped out of the side with that. But we're all together. The morale's higher than it's ever been since I've been here, and we're playing some decent stuff. And I think like it's been a big shift over the last few weeks. You know, I feel like the fans are behind us. You know, after that Whitton 1-0, seems a million miles away now, and we don't want to look back. We only want to look forward.
Looking forward then onto the weekend, FA Trophy action against Sutton Coldfield Town, team again a league lower than us, but it's not one to be taken lightly.
No, we won't be seeing that here with Eburn. I won't ever take a team. Listen, the day I start coming here taking teams lightly, I won't be in a football job. Everyone gets the respect. We'll be down at Corby tomorrow. We know they've got a game. We'll be travelling down to Leicester. We'll be watching them. We'll be hoping we can pick a few bits up, and they'll be getting the same respect that every team who comes to Hurst Cross deserves, because at this level, if you want to turn up and think games are won, then you're going to have problems. They'll be here and we'll be running hard on Saturday, and the lads who get the chance, or whether team stays the same, we'll be playing to win the game, but they'll be getting all the respect in the world from us.
Just a final note, again, some really poor weather around Ashton this last couple of days. Just a word to the ground staff that have made an impeccable effort.
Listen, Matt, you know me by now. They've had praise from me before game. I've been on phone to them both today. Well, not just them both. I know it's Andy and Andy generally who get the pats on the back, but this is why I'm so happy, I'm so proud today, because this was a big game for us. If we would have got beat tonight, you're back looking down, and I think this is the one where possibly we can start looking forward. And this ain't just about me, it's not just about the players, it's about you guys who give everything up every week to come and watch us, and the ground staff, the volunteers, the kit men, everything. We're all in it together, and it feels really good tonight, I ain't going to lie.
Ashton boss Michael Clegg there talking about the 3-1 win over Radcliffe on Tuesday. Now the Robins are in FA Trophy first round action this weekend with a home clash against Sutton Coldfield Town. Well, Stalybridge Celtic are also in FA Trophy action this weekend and make the trip to Bootle. Simon Howarth's side are 4 games unbeaten after Tuesday's 2-2 draw with Whitton Albion. Unfortunately, the club have lost the services of striker Marcus Dacus after he was recalled by parent club Salford City. Howarth spoke to Taran Darmrate following Tuesday's draw and spoke of his pride in his players' performances.
I thought we were excellent first half, especially going forward. I thought we'd done enough first half to win the game, and we've let 2 really sloppy goals in. The first one's just sort of, it's an absolute gimme for them sort of thing, and the second one isn't great either. And we've played really well going forward. We've scored 2, and we should have probably scored a few more. Jake's had a few good chances and things. One cleared off the line, that kind of thing. So, I don't know, all the action was in the first half, wasn't it? The second half fizzled out. They defended very well, and we never really got going. So the second half became a bit of a stalemate. But I thought we'd done enough first half to be in front more. To be in front. We've come in at 2-2.
There was that chance just for half time, wasn't there, with Jake, and the keeper's made a good save, and then in the second half. Why do you think that was? Was there maybe just a lack of intensity perhaps in the second half? We just didn't get going, like you said.
No, yeah, first half we did. I mean, we've done well to come back from, we've gone behind twice, so credit to us for that, and we've let soft goals in, and sometimes that can sort of, you can drop right off, but we kept going, we kept creating, and we scored some good goals, some very good goals actually. Justin scored 2 good goals, and we've created, and as you said, Jake's kicking himself in there. He knows he should probably score and put us 3-2 up. We've had another one off the line and things like that. So second half, yeah, we huffed and puffed, and so did they really. They defended very well. I'd rather give them credit second half for what they did. They were defending the slope, and they defended very well, giving nothing away.
Also, it's not a defeat, it's a point for us, and we keep going until the FA Trophy next week.
Yeah, it was important we didn't lose. I think we'd come back into the game twice. We had a real good go at them for 20-25 minutes in the second half, and then I felt we just fizzled out a bit, and the lack of options on the bench. We didn't have any attackers we could throw on and freshen up. Bax was injured again with his previous injury, so we were a bit light of attackers. It'd been great to throw 2 more attackers on, wouldn't it? And we'd probably gone and created a bit more and maybe got the winner that way, but we had to stick with what we got, and we dug in. And it was important we didn't lose in the end. They got back into it a little bit at the end, and I was saying to Steve, make sure we don't lose, and it's our first draw of the season, but I think people above us have lost, and we're 7th in the league, so I mean, we have to be thrilled with that, being 7th in the league, and FA Trophy game next week, and things are going well for us, and we have to look at the positives.
Like you said, obviously Dak is injured, and obviously Jay, so they're 2 sort of really good forward options that we have that weren't available today.
Yeah, before their injuries, when we had 5 sort of strikers as such, we were throwing 2 on, and we were keeping the momentum and the tempo up. But a few weeks ago now, we've got some midfielders, centre backs that aren't going to go and win you a game. And I think Justin looked a bit tired, and Jake and Marcus. It was a hard game. It was a tough sort of game in tough conditions, and we were just flagging a little bit at the end. And like I said, a Scott or a Jay that would have been fresh might have gone and just won it for us, and they didn't. But credit to Whitton, they defended well, and they took their moments and their opportunities and made it difficult for us. But I kind of overriding feelings we've left 2 points out there.
Some of the football, especially, we continued after the last few games, which was really, really good football in the first half. Some of the build-up play and the chances that we created is also really pleasing. Yeah,
some of the football's great, and the chances we did create, are excellent. And if anything, we're maybe guilty of not scoring more. But like I said, the biggest thing today is we've let 2 soft goals in. We've gone and scored 2. We can't score 3 and 4 every week to win a game. 2 today should have done the job. I mean, some of Josh's crosses are just like out of this world. His delivery's unbelievable. I think it was half a dozen first half. I think we scored off one of them, but some of them crosses are just, I'd love, like I said last week, I'd love to be playing 20 years ago with them. And I'm working on Marcus and Jake to get on the end of them because they're of such quality. We need to, we need to make use of it. But we have to be pleased. Like I said, yeah, we've climbed a couple of places, playing good football. All's good at the moment.
Obviously, yeah, Josh got an assist. I think another one of his crosses, it just caused that much sort of carnage in the box, and obviously it nearly went in on the line. So it's a real sort of tool and asset that we've got. He's
a real asset. He's a good defender. He's a great lad as well. He's come and completely bought into being on loan here, which all the loan lads have. But sometimes you don't get that. But I mean, his delivery's of a real high standard. Was he at Sheffield Wednesday? It's that kind of standard, his delivery, and we need to make the most of it whilst he's here doing that for us, because some of them crosses are real sort of high-end professional standard, and we've just got to make sure we get on the end of them. We got on the end of one, and I think he's been getting a few assists the last 3 or 4 games from doing that. But yeah, he was good. We were all good going forward. Like I said, I was pleased with us going forward. We done enough to win the game. Disappointed we left some soft goals in, but credit to Witten in terms of Callum Saunders scores goals. He's had 2 half chances, took them. And in fairness, we've defended very well in the last 7-8 games. So today I thought we were a little bit off it defensively.
Next weekend we've got another big game. I think the big games keep coming, and the FA Trophy again, a chance for us to go and play like we know we can and hopefully progress.
Yeah, we need to have a bit of a cup run. It's important to the finances, which we all know about, but it'd be good for the players and the team and the club and the supporters if we can just have a bit of a run. And it'll be a tough game away at Bootle, but again, if we play our best football, there's no reason why we can't go there and get a result and win the game, which would be great. We'd put us through into the next round, which probably hasn't happened for a while. So that would be good. And we're sat in 7th in the league in sort of what will be mid-November. I think we all have to be really pleased with that, with what we do. And the start was kind of tricky, and I think all things included, to be 7th in the league, we're doing excellent. And if we can get through next week and win that game, then we're in a real good place.
Just back to the start of the season, you said, we all knew how difficult our run was, but you said, if we could get past that and start playing teams that are sort of more similar to ourselves and win those games, that we'd do well for ourselves, and we are doing well.
Yeah, we started tough. There were some tough games, and I think we just lacked a little bit of belief, and there was a little bit of, we weren't sure what we were doing. We know now, and if you watch us, there's a real identity, isn't there? We play 4-3-3, we work hard, we get it forward quick, and we play high tempo kind of football going forward, crosses in the box, and Justin and Jake or Backer or Jay, whoever it is, and Marcus are just a real handful, and the rest of the team are working hard to get them the ball early, and we look a threat, and like I said, there's a good identity to it, and we've started winning games, and we're picking up plenty of points and good results and playing good football. And the lads have got clapped off there. We've drawn 2-2 and they've got a round of applause off, because first half some of that was really excellent, and second half, did we blow our steam a little bit? Yeah, but I think the supporters are aware that we've got people missing as well, and I'd have loved to have thrown 2 strikers on to freshen up, because I really believe that would have gone and got us the winner. But credit to the lads that dig in and get a result, and we did. And Witten aren't a bad team. They're on a good run, and again, a bit like us, they started poorly, but yeah, I'm confident Witten will probably be in the top half, and they look a decent enough team.
The supporters today, obviously, behind the goal, we're doing the best to cheer the lads on, and I feel that's a big help for us. Yeah, and I'm glad they have. I hope we won 7, I think, in 10 and drawn 1. Our record's good. We've only lost 2 games in 10 or 11. They should get behind us, and hopefully they do come down. And it's a good game of football. There's some good stuff. Justin's goals, some of Josh's crosses, some of the football we played. It's of a good standard. It's worth coming and watching that. And 2 good teams having a go at each other today. It was a good spectacle. And whilst we'd like to win, it was a good positive result for us. And results have gone our way, and we've climbed a few places. And the more the supporters can come in and do that, the better. And they got right behind us second half, and we're just a bit disappointed we couldn't really carve out a clear-cut chance. We had a few moments, but we didn't create enough. It's finally, obviously, on to Bootle. So what do you sort of know about them? I mean, obviously we're not a club that we normally play. I don't think Staley would just play Bootle for 20, 30 years. What do you know about them, and how do you prepare? I mean, we've had a look at them. They'll be watched for us, so we'll know what we're doing, and we'll speak to people who played against them. So we'll get a bit of an angle. But it's very much about what we do. We've not got a great record against Leicester teams. So for me, it's our mentality. If we be the best Stalybridge that we've been in the last few months, we'll be good enough to get a result. But they're a Liverpool team, which means they'll compete, they'll be aggressive, and they won't give anything away, and they'll want to win, which is what you always get as a given with sort of the Liverpool team. So we know it'll be tough. I think they pushed FC United early in the season in an FA Cup game, very close. So they'll be a tough team. They'll be decent. They'll have a go at us. If we do it right, we're more than capable. If we don't, then we'll be in for a long afternoon. So it's very much about us. And I think at this level, you can scout teams as much as you want. There's an awful lot of watching teams and tactics and stuff, but I do believe at this level it's very much what your lads do on the day. If they perform to the best of their ability after working all week and that kind of thing, then you'll be okay. But
you know, I'm not sure we're at a level where we can go stopping teams and worrying too much about the teams. We just have to make sure we do what we do very well, and if we do that, I'm confident we'll get the result.
Stalybridge Celtic boss Simon Howarth there reflecting on his side's 2-2 draw with Witton Albion on Tuesday night. Well, in the National League North last weekend, new Curzon Ashton boss Adam Lakeland faced what should be the toughest game this season. However, his Nash side pulled off a shock to beat league leaders AFC Fylde 2-1 at the Tameside Stadium. Lakeland spoke to Curzon's media team about the result and said he was delighted for his players after a tough period on and off the pitch.
Obviously delighted. Probably, well, the games don't come as any harder than that, certainly for your first game. So great result for us. Just massively made up for the players really, because it's it's my first game and I'm new here, but they've had a lot of kind of disruption over the last couple of weeks, and they've not been able to train and they've not had a game, new manager, so they've had a lot to kind of contend with, and I think they showed the character, conceding so early in the second half to then come back and go and win it. I think they showed a hell of a lot of mentality and character, so every credit to them. We put a game plan in place. We worked on it on Thursday night, and the lads stuck to the task. We were very organised throughout the game. Incredible work ethic. One or two of the lads there struggling at the end with a little bit of cramp and a couple of muscular issues, but for them to keep going and get such a good result against a top team. They are a top team, and I think anybody who finishes higher than them will win the league. You've got a chance in every game you play, and every credit to the lads today for sticking to the task, working incredibly hard, showing good mentality, and getting us a really important 3 points.
Yeah, as you say, it was a baptism of fire with all the factors that you mentioned, but in the end, do you think it was a deserved 3 points for your boys?
Well, I can't really remember Chris Renshaw having too many big saves to make. I know he made one right at the end off Nick Horton. He had no chance with the goal. It's an unbelievable strike. One or two routine saves, and I know that they probably missed the target with a couple of efforts they'll feel they should have done better with. But I thought the lads in front of Chris, right throughout the team really, I thought they put a right shift in, and they made it incredibly difficult for them to play through us. They protected the space in the middle of the pitch, which is where they want to kind of come through. And I can't really remember Chris having loads of massive saves to make. And I think for that alone, we probably did deserve it for the amount of effort that we put into that game. You play against Fylde, and they're obviously a full-time team. They've got a hell of a lot of experience, some very good players. They want to dominate the ball, and they're as good as anybody in the league at keeping the ball and moving you around. And you've got to be disciplined, you've got to be patient, you've got to enter the game accepting that you're probably going to have long periods out of possession. And it takes a certain mindset of a player to be able to do that. If you clock off for a second against good teams, good players, you get punished. And I think for all those kind of factors combined, that it was a well-earned, deserved victory for us.
Yeah, you've already alluded to it a little bit, but I guess one negative coming from today was probably Thomas coming off. Is there any initial update on what the injury was there?
No, we'll just have to assess him. I mean, he said that he was feeling a bit of cramp in his hamstring. We just took the decision to bring him off the pitch. He's obviously a massive player for us. And Jack Dyche obviously went on, replaced him, and put a shift in for the last 15 minutes or so. So we'll have to, see how it settles down over the next day or two. I don't think it's anything too major, but we'll just have to wait and see.
The games come thick and fast, obviously, you'll know, in this league, and up next is York at home next Saturday. Are you looking forward to that next week?
Well, yeah, of course. I always look forward to games. Another big challenge, another good team, good side with full-time aspirations of getting promoted. So it's going to be another difficult game. But we said before the game, in a way, these games are free hits for us. These teams should be expected to come here and beat us, but that's not the way that football always works, and today's proved that. So we'll enjoy it. Lads have got to enjoy it tonight and over the weekend, but it's one win, and that means nothing. It's a big win, and every point in this league is hard earned, but it's just one win. And on Monday we'll be working ahead of the York game, and hopefully we can get another good result.
Curzon Ashton boss Adam Lakeland there reflecting on his side's 2-1 victory over AFC Fylde last weekend. Well, elsewhere this weekend, Hyde United will be hoping to bounce back from last weekend's late defeat at Warrington Town when they make the trip to Buxton. Buxton, of course, are now managed by former Curzon boss Steve Cunningham following his sacking last month. High-flying Mosley are also in FA Trophy action and make the trip to Whitby Town. The Lilywhites' three-game unbeaten run came to an end last weekend with a 1-0 defeat to Workington at Seal Park. And Glossop North End are in league action this weekend and host 1874 Northwich. Glossop beat Bootle 2-1 last weekend, which was the Hillman's first victory since August the 17th. Well, I'm afraid that's it for this week's show. However, you can find more local sports news on our website, questmedianetwork.co.uk.